People of the internet, welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. Got a video pulled up here. Comes from Greatness Clips, of course, with Lewis Howes, entitled Why 70% of Divorce Filings Are by Women. It's a conversation with Professor Scott Galloway. A conversation with Lewis Howes in terms of this situation, folks. Of course, I think I did a video not too long ago in terms of what women don't understand about men in relationships. And then, of course, I think I did another video not too long ago about a woman that was rejoicing about the money that she gets to take in her divorce and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So you hear things like this, of course, and again, with divorce rates, we always hear stories about divorce rates always being 50%, or if not more. I think it's maybe like 60% now. So I want to see if this video and this conversation can offer a little bit of insight as to why that is. Why is it always the majority of women that are the ones that are aiming to call for divorce? According to the gentleman, why is it 70%? 70% is a large percentage. 70% of divorce filings are initiated by women. Let's see if we can get a little bit of insight from this video. I'll share my thoughts. Of course, I encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's get into it.
70% of divorce filings are filed by women, and I can statistically prove that there's a lot of good women and there's a lot of good men, and there's some bad women and some bad men. But women, I believe, and we don't like to talk about this openly and honestly, value economic security more in a mate than men do. 75% of women say that economic viability is a key criteria in a mate. For men, it's only 25%.
Wanting the woman to make money or have security.
Or that it's important.
In the relationship.
Yeah, in some, women are much more attracted to a man because of his financial security than a man would be to a woman because of her financial security. And then it gets speedball in online dating, which is where everyone is meeting now. And the problem is that people don't give each other enough chance, especially, quite frankly, women who, if you talk to married couples, 75% of them will say that initially, one was less attracted or interested in the other. And it's almost always that the woman was less attracted to the man. Women have a much finer filter than men because the downside of sex is much greater for women, and they have a much stronger instinct to find someone who can protect their young. And so they are much choosier than men. So guys are driven by aesthetics initially online, but they're less choosy. Oh, she looks cute, or she looks nice, or she looks like she works out. Swipe right, swipe right, swipe right. Women are choosier. In addition, we have this unfortunate trend in society where young men are falling further faster than in any time in history, and women, generally speaking, mate socioeconomically horizontally and up. Women mate horizontally and up socioeconomically, men horizontally and down. But what we also have to acknowledge is that if we don't figure out a way to produce more economically and emotionally viable young men, we're going to have a lack of household formation. 70% of those divorce filings, and the number one source of that divorce filing, there's really three things. He has an emotional breakdown, he loses his business, or he declares bankruptcy.
That's the biggest cause for women wanting to file for a divorce.
When he's no longer a viable provider.
Wow.
People think it's values or infidelity. It's not. It's almost always related to money.
Wow.
Money creates kind of opportunistic infection. It's sort of like there's just more likely, and most anger, most households coming apart, financial stress usually is creating the context of anger and disappointment.
The underlying issue behind why is someone's resentful or angry or stressed or overwhelmed.
It lowers the immunity system of everybody around the household.
Wow.
Women are attracted, generally speaking, the research shows, to men based on three reasons. The third is kindness. They're impressed by men who are good to their parents and kind and go out of their way to help people, and there's no reciprocal expectation. The second is intelligence. Because the smarter you are, the more likely you are to make good decisions and protect your family's offspring. And by the way, the fastest way to communicate intelligence is humor. I've always said if you can make a woman laugh, you can kiss her.
Wow.
And then the most important thing, though, to women, and people don't like to admit this, is the man's ability to signal future resources. It's not even he has to be rich now, but he has to have his act together such that he looks like he will be a decent provider. And the number of people, the number of men we're producing that qualify in this category is shrinking.
Pause right there real quick. Very interesting, folks. Very interesting, man. So a lot of these things, of course, isn't news to any of us. A lot of the things that we have heard, of course, is commonly stated within just the social arena that we are in now, social media in general, and then just relationship dynamics between men and women. We hear these things a lot. Of course, this isn't new to us. Women do want financial security. We hear these things. Yeah, women are usually not the ones that are initially attracted to a man. This, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Unless it was this, that, and the other. So I heard things like that. Of course, you heard the 3 reasons that he kind of broke down. One of the 3 reasons that women typically initiate divorce, upwards of 70%, which is, of course, the title of this video, why 70% of divorce filings are by women. Reason number 1, the top 2, of course, we always think it's always infidelity, which I'm sure is going to be up there as well, too. But the gentleman says that it's actually lack of finances. Financial stress is reason numero uno as to why women usually are looking to jump ship in terms of marriages. And I get that. I mean, financial stress, of course, again, if we're playing the game of traditional roles where the man is supposed to be the protector, the provider, the one who financially secures a household, and he's not doing that, then of course that is going, by our natural instinct, again, within traditional norms, that's gonna increase the amount of stress, the amount of difficulty within that household, of course, just innately. And then, of course, you hear reason number 2, infidelity, and then this, that, and the other. And I like the point that the gentleman said as well, too. Women just got to be able to see that you have the potential, too. Now, a lot of women, of course, these modern-day women are saying, oh, nah, we're not helping men get across the finish line anymore. We're not building men anymore. We want the finished product. Teach his own. But I get that, though, especially if you're speaking in the times that we're living in now, man, where everything is super expensive, where everything is, bills. A lot, especially with people just not wanting to work, both men and women not necessarily wanting to work anymore. There's a lot of things right now that are putting financial strain across all fronts, both men and women. What does that look like for society moving forward? Will these numbers continue to grow? But why is that, though? Why are women so willing to jump ship when financial hurdles are met within the couple, within the marriage? Hearing all of those statistics kind of just makes me think that relationships are just going back to what they were originally, which was just transactions. I think we're at the point right now where these things are just transactional. Men, of course, ideally looking for the trophy wife, the girl that looks good, and this, that, and the other, who's going to cause them the least amount of stress. And women are looking for the man who is financially stable. It sounds like a transaction. Back in the day with the Romans and even just the history before, where, there are arranged marriages, and oh, you married that family for their resources, and oh, that family had weapons and steel and grain and sugar, so we got to join forces with them so that way we could have access to their fleet of this, that, and the other. At the rate at which we're moving, we'll be back in those type of times, if we're not there now, soon enough. Whereas it's transaction, where it's just like love is a factor that's out the window. I had a conversation with somebody not too long ago where I was like, yeah, gone are the days where love is the foundation as to why people are getting together, especially with this generation. This generation, they're not getting together, because I love you. Nah, what's that? I think love is a byproduct of compatibility. I think couples nowadays are getting together because of what you can do for that person. Does she look good on my arm? Does he look good on my arm? Is he, famous? Does he have clout? Does he have money? I feel like all the reasons that people get into relationship nowadays have nothing to do with what our parents and their parents before. Those reasons are night and day. I said this before in another video as well too, where it's a lost art within this generation where we don't fight through thick and thin. Isn't that the vows within wedding vows, or whatever the case is, to death do us part, through thick and thin, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. I don't think that resonates with this generation. I don't think the generation now has mastered the art of overcoming the hurdles when they arise. And of course, that's going to be inevitable in any relationship. If it's not going to be financial strain, it could be physical strain, whereas maybe one partner, gets sick or gets ill, can't go to work, whatever the case is. Physical strain, emotional strain, mental strain, and financial. These are all factors that in most situations are going to be inevitable in situations. So if both parties, both men and women, are just willing to up and drop things at a drop of a dime, at a drop of struggle, at a drop of difficulty, what does that mean for the foundation of families, the institution of marriage moving forward? Something's got to give, man. Again, I've been saying this for some time. A new world is here. It's not even that it's coming. It's here. It's different. Traditional norms are out the window. Which is a very small percentage of people out there that are still sticking to traditional norms, and there's a new generation of people that are creating rules as they go, it seems like. So this number doesn't shock me at all. Of course, again, shout out to these gentlemen here. You see here why 70% of divorce filings are done by women, because I believe they're operating out of their true hypergamous nature. That's nothing new. We know that from Jump Street. Women are hypergamous, right? Is what it seems like. So this number doesn't surprise me at all. 70% of divorce filings are done by women. Duh. Because again, us men, we don't necessarily look to the woman to be financially stable. We look for the woman who's going to cause the least amount of stress and who can maybe be a good mother to your children, assuming you want to be a father and start a family to send the other. That's maybe the qualities that you're looking for. The woman that's going to be the most nurturing, the most compassionate, who looks good. But men are not necessarily looking to women for their financial ability. I mean, some are. Some men don't want to be associated with broke girls, just like most women don't want to be associated with broke men. So there are some men that do hold themselves to a certain standard where, yeah, they're not entertaining broke women either. I mean, I think you'll be within your right to do so. But for the most part, we do understand that men aren't necessarily looking for women to be as educated and as financially stable as them, especially if you're dealing with a man who considers himself a high value man or high earner or a man with some status. So I don't know, man. What does it look like for the family unit moving forward is what I'm trying to figure out. If nobody wants to stick together through thick and thin, love is a byproduct, love is on the back burner, where people are getting into relationships for superficial reasons, what does it look like moving forward for a healthy society? Those are my thoughts. Of course, I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you guys on the next one.